Just applying a little bit of wax oil here between the plate and the body. Make sure we don't get anything nasty growing there. Oh my goodness, it went through. Just like that. No, that's not going to work, is it? Surely that is better. The rear suspension of the Morris Minor has lever arm dampers or shock absorbers. It's a pretty common modification to replace the lever arm shocks with telescopic shocks. ESM sells a kit for a reasonable price, less than £100 or something similar, containing a large cross member which goes underneath the floor of the car, two amended lower brackets, the shocks themselves and all the fittings. To prepare the parts, I removed a light coating of paint from the cross member, cleaned the parts with metal prep, and then painted them with Pour 15, just to get a little bit of protection. The kit comes with these brackets, which are different from the original brackets. These lower brackets are different. The shock bolts on here, I think, and then there is a cross member at the top which bolts onto the floor. The underside of the floor. But we had a little problem with these brackets. We had to actually put a chamfer in the hole here to make the plate. This plate, I'm not quite sure what it's called, but it sits between the springs and the bracket. There's a plate which abuts the bush there, in this case the polyurethane bush. That bracket has a round area which fits within this hole here. So we had to make some adjustments to the lower bracket to make that fit right. And also on the U-bolts we had to widen the holes just a little bit in a couple of places to make it fit. But all is good now. And then the last thing to do is to connect the shocks up and install the cross member. That's tomorrow's job. This is the kit here. These are actually oil shock absorbers, they're not gas. I'm just trying to work out the correct holes to use. These 3 holes can be used depending on just general fitment, so I'll just try it with the middle holes for now. And also there's 2 positions where the bottom of the shock can also be attached to the lower bracket, so we'll see which ones work. We're just packing washers at the side just to make sure that that space is is filled. I'm just going to put a nut on there very loosely. Just trying to find the right position for the cross member. It needs to be nice and vertical. It looks like just behind the bump stop is the place to go. Okay, definitely a two-person job. So you can see there the cross member has been bolted to the underside of the boot floor. 4 bolts that go through. Those were drilled. And then the shock absorbers contact the cross member here. There are 3 bolt holes that one can use. I've decided to use the middle one. I think the idea is the shock absorber should be as vertical as possible. It's possible I could move the shock over one. We'll see. I mean, I can always adjust that later, I think, once we actually get this thing driven, which might happen this decade. But we'll leave it there for now. The bolts have not been fully tightened, just loosely tightened. We'll wait for the car to be on its weight, on its wheels, before we do the full tightening. And at the bottom, you can see the telescopic shock is attached to the new bracket. There are 4 bolts there. We use those large, wide, flat washers. This side I still have to bolt up.